So I guess in terms of like giving bios and stuff, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Barrett Slade. I'm the founder of Finplanly, which is a platform designed specifically for high school and college students with the idea to help prepare them with personal financial knowledge. So the premise, if you can think about it, in this country, when you graduate high school or college, you're thrust into being an adult and everything that comes with it without a clear knowledge of the decisions you made. There are inherently financial decisions, but you may not look at them that way. So from deciding whether or not to go to college, what you want to major in, what field you want to go in, those are financial based decisions. A lot of times disguised as do what makes you feel happy, which is great. The thing that is missing often is understanding the short-term as well as long-term financial impact of those choices. So it's okay if you didn't want to go to college, but if you have dreams of being a multimillionaire or billionaire, there are some very specific things that you have to think about in order to kind of reach that. And a lot of times financial literacy is not something that we're taught in schools. As someone who's a little bit older, a lot of times it's either trial and error, or you had somebody in your life that may have helped you, but a lot of times even with that, it's learning on your own. So my idea with this platform is to provide some of the educational aspects of building your financial literacy through the learning lessons, but also couple that with AI to make it feel more real and personal. So in the platform, you'll enter what job titles you're thinking about. But as you're building that, you're actually creating a budget that will help you picture what your financial future may look like. So you build that skill set of how to think about your finances.
Got you. Honestly, like even like from like the premise itself, like when you were basically like enumerating some of what the pain points would be, I would say like this kind of goes into like my bio or background too. But
Okay.
like my personal background is my name is Ruben Steven. I'm originally from South Florida, currently at MIT studying mechanical engineering and computer science. And like the road to get there, like especially now, like, comparing to the other people who have gotten here, it was a very different road than the rest of these people.
Yeah.
And what that looked like in particular is like I come from like a low income, like I'm the sixth child, like the youngest of six Haitian immigrants. And so there's just not like they like barely speak the language. Like they just got here. So to
Yep.
expect them not only to speak the language but to be like fully like educated and like well versed and like I guess like well versed and adept with like the American financial system is honestly just like nah, bro. They went to work barely like went to
Very
work.
good point.
And so it's like yeah, like and it's like there's like a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. I very much had the poor dad, bro. I didn't even have like yeah. And on top of that, specifically, like, I feel like this is like I'm a dime a dozen, but I grew up like without a father in the household, and so on top of that, like not only even if it was an uneducated version of it, there was just no voice telling me what to do with money. The only like real examples I had are like, okay, what are the rappers and trappers doing? They get it and they flaunt it, and it's like no, my boy, no.
Yeah, and that's really what I wanted to do. So my background, I went to North Carolina State for my undergrad, got a degree in business, got an MBA from Wake Forest. I've worked in the financial services industry, between banks and currently a product manager in mortgage insurance. So I've understood personal finance and things, one, from my education, two, kind of a personal passion, and three, my actual profession. And what I realized is that there isn't a time place or a time frame within kind of our maturity where you really sit down and want to figure it out until either you're already in debt and you realize you messed up, or you're early in the process and has someone to tap you on the shoulder and says, hey, here's what investing looks like. Here's what budgeting looks like. Here's why you probably don't need a 7 Series BMW when you graduate from college, when you barely make enough for rent and that car payment. So understanding just how things are connected. I really wanted to put it in a consolidated form, because right now, if you yourself want to learn how to do this, you're gonna have to prompt a whole bunch of AI or do a whole bunch of Google searching to find what is somewhat a reliable resource. But in both of those, you have to know the questions to ask.
Mm.
And if you don't know the questions to ask, how do you get to the answer? You know, so that's why I wanted to build this in something that's, you know, very attainable for anybody to really use, and it doesn't require an instructor. You know, you don't need to be in a class talking to somebody. You do it on your own, and it just makes it easier. The hope is that this isn't, you know, the catch-all for everything you need to know in your life, but at least gets you down the path to start. Mm-hmm.
In this way, like, hey, look, think about your money, kid.
Yes, 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 100%. So what I can do is just share my screen, walk through the platform, and get kind of your thoughts. I know you won't have read everything, but what we can do after this, I can set you up with a profile, and you can play around, give me feedback, all those things.
Got you.
Sound good?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. You should be able to see my screen now.
Yes.
All right, so this is Finn Planley. There are two ways that I've designed the system. One is for if you're an individual student like yourself, if you just wanted to sign up, use it, great. The other is from a group perspective. So think of, you know, a mentoring group, a church youth ministry, kind of those things. They can provide this to their to the people they mentor, their students will have you as well. So that's why you'll see this instructor portal. That's more so if I was the instructor leading a group. But the way that it's designed, so you have the it broken down into these tabs. So these are the different, as I call them, learning lab sections. So it's built in a way that's from as if you knew nothing. Like, what is money? Like, why do we have money? And you're going through that process till you get to kind of what is a career, thinking long term, so savings and investing, your living expenses, understanding debt and how loans work, and then everything else that you have to manage in life. The platform is built off of this notion of a 50 20 50 20 30 budget. So basically 20% goes to savings and investing. The 50% is kind of the core expenses, and then the 30% is everything else. So the way that this is built is you'll go through these different sections. So I'll just kind of click through them so you can see them. So this is, you know, text, as if you're, think about this as a textbook, but a digital version. So you're reading through these different things, talking about paychecks and interest and equity and all of those aspects. Then how you actually manage money. This is where we get into discussing what the budget is. But then when you get to some of these other sections, this is where it becomes interactive. So you'll learn some about, you know, finding jobs, careers, all that. But then there's this AI component where now you're saying, what do you like in actually doing, and answering some questions. So if I were to just put math in here as an example, it will use that as a way to generate certain interest in things for you. My internet's lagging a little bit right now, I think because I'm on streaming, but this will give you an idea of different job titles. So, okay, that may be something of interest to me depending on what I put in there. Where do I actually want to live? So put in a city and a state, and what it's doing is telling you what it's like to live there. What's, you know, the affordability, what type of jobs are there, industries. So you have an idea, but this is where it becomes real in the sense of, okay, maybe I wanted one of these jobs is let's say a data analyst. I could put that in here. What it does, it pulls in what that projected starting salary could be. Of course, estimates and all of that. But then as I come to this tab, if I had selected multiple jobs, I could put that here. But then once I click this button, this is telling me what I will likely make in a month. So as I'm going through all of this now, oops, just did something I didn't want to do. All right. You able to see everything fine still?
Say again?
Are you able to see my screen fine still?
Yeah.
Okay. So like if I go back to this money map, you see that the data analyst job was added too. What this allows for, as you're going through these different sections, you're building a budget based on what you want for your life. So this is where you're thinking about debt, and about savings and investing. You're acting as if this is what you're making a month and what you're putting away. And at the same token, understanding what is investing, like what is a stock? Why should I invest? What's the NASDAQ? What's the S&P 500? What's inflation? How should I think about inflation? Does that play into investing? So giving you kind of that breakdown of the concept, but now saying, if this was your life, how would you go about it? And it kind of continues along that same path for all of the different sections, living expenses. The only other one I'll point out is this from how loans work, really walking through understanding what interest is, and especially for student loans and car loans, what does that look like? If you were to come over here, you'll start playing out what does 4 years at a college, what could that debt load look like, and what's that debt payment? So then I can build that into my actual budget and everything too.
Gotcha.
So I dropped a lot on you. What are your initial reactions?
Okay. First thing is, it's a question of like, who is the, I guess, like ideal user of this? Like, would it be like me exactly, or like someone younger than me, or like what does a target avatar look like?
I would say it's probably perfect for a junior, senior in high school, and then all the way through college.
Gotcha.
You could do a recent college graduate, but hopefully by that point you've already kind of figured out a job and things of that nature. So this may be a little too kind of baseline for you at that point. But if you're earlier in that sphere, I think this would be the right way to at least get a baseline.
Yeah, it seems like I wrote like a little bit of like notes in like the little chat message, but it was just like, it seems like the core like value add here is like providing accessibility and like making this knowledge more commonplace. Yes. And so it's like, it's not meant to take you to like, okay, this is advanced economics. It's like, okay, bro, get what is, like you said, like starting from the bit, taking something, okay, cool. So then that seems like it's more like, okay. And then this goes into like another, I guess, comment, or like, it's just in terms of delivery. Cause mind you, I'm a 19, I have like TikTok brain, not TikTok brain, but it's like, I'm just like, okay, this is a lot of text. Would someone who's like, because I'm thinking like, to the degree that I know anything about finances, it's because I went and read myself, but it's like, that's kind of like filtering already for like the type of person who's like, okay, I want to go, but I'm thinking of like, which goes into, my bad, I'm going in a bunch of different directions, but I think it goes into that question of like, who is the exact target audience? Because there is like, I feel like this would be a bit like the medium is suited for someone who's already like looking to be educated / reading. And so I guess like, is the goal to like tap someone on the shoulder who wouldn't necessarily think about it originally? Or is it like, okay, you've shown some interest, let's get you from like 60. I guess it's like 0 to 1 or like 60 to 100 or something like that.
Great question. So I played around with the medium because part of me realizes listening to someone else talk about finances may be equally as boring as reading some about finances. So which medium would be better for someone who is going from 0 to 50? Would they actually put in the effort to sit there and listen to, 5-10 minute videos, or would that just be, I'm bored of this, I'm not getting past the third section of learning, or would kind of getting to someone who is at least 15, 20 wanting to go that extra bit? And I'm thinking it's more so that 15, 20, just because you have to want to learn some of this. I would say it's either you're gonna learn it because you want to, you're gonna learn it because you have to. There really isn't. Money is the only thing that literally touches every person in the world. And to what extent do you want to be involved in it? It's really up to you. But you're gonna play this game no matter what. So I would lean towards someone who is in that 15, 20, but also somebody, because of the other side of this with the group perspective, has at least a mentorship group or something that says you're gonna learn this and there's nothing you can do about it. I have you every Saturday for 2 hours, and we're gonna go through this for a month.
Yeah, so, I'm thinking like basketball teams. That's like I think about like my coach. Like, oh yeah, we're in study hall. Pull out that Finn Planley, bro.
Yes. If I'm a high school coach, I'm gonna start you here, and you guys better do this during the season because some of you may get NIL money, but I need you to know what stock is too. And trying to build at least some foundational knowledge that there's a whole side of this that you may not know yet, but you need to.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Cause I'm thinking like I played varsity basketball in high school, and I'm just thinking like it would be a perfect, like it would have been a perfect resource to use for like the exact team I was on. I'm not gonna lie, like they would have needed.
Gotcha. But you make a great point, because the part that I wasn't sure, seeing this as you said 19-year-old, is this immediately like, hey, this is boring, I don't want to do this, because you see all of this text?
A little bit. I got TikTok brain. I'm not gonna lie, they got me.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's like, but like you mentioned, like I would, like, me knowing myself personally, like, I'll probably go through it, and I'd probably, if I'm being quite honest, like what was my first thought? Throw it into like ChatGPT, summarize this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like how I go about parsing information now.
So for you, it's just listening to it first, or is it the hands-on aspect of it too? So would you just kind of listen to these sections podcast style first, or would you want still to see like the actual text tied to it?
I think probably like all three, more like, because I'm thinking of like, because in terms of, because it also comes to that question of like, what style of learner are you? And like people vary. It's like my personal style is probably, my personal style is audio, and also like, visual. Like if I had to rank them, like, visual, show me how it's working, especially with like engineering. Like I was in an exam today, like literally like doing the things with my hands, like, visual first, then audio, then text, because like text, especially like you're translating it into like audio. At least for me, like I translate it into audio in my head, and then that interactivity and like ability to engage, I feel like gamifying it. I feel like that's like the AI part is like very good. It's like it's not just textbook like general, like here's what like engineer would make versus this. Like, what do you want to do? Okay, this is what you want to do would make. It's like, okay, cool.
Perfect. So along that gamified route, because I played around with this in my mind too, like Duolingo. Have you ever used that?
Yeah.
So on a spectrum, it's that which can easily come off corny and cheesy, to not gamifying at all. If something like this had some type of gamified approach, like, would that just be like, this is pointless? Like it.
I see.
It's all has all these flashy colors and characters, but it doesn't mean nothing. So I try to play which way. This is more of a generic educational platform in terms of the appearance. but I haven't dived too deep in. Do I want to shift that to the gamified approach or not? How does that part resonate with you?
I think the first thing I just thought of was like brilliant, as I think they're somewhat in the middle of like they're not exactly Duolingo like in terms of like, oh, you get like
A
here
heart
you get
or
like
whatever.
flashing screen, like
Yeah.
it's not like that crazy, but it's like okay. Because I haven't been on. It's like a brilliant. It's like a engineering and like science app, but it's basically like making those.
Okay.
It's a similar concept of like make these somewhat more inaccessible concepts like easier for the layman
Okay.
to interact with.
Okay.
And so yeah, and I don't remember the exact specifics because it's been a while, but I think like, their format was really good. And I was also like I think Khan Academies is also really good, but I think
Okay.
that's a bit more quizzy. Like that's I'm not
Yes.
sure if it
Yeah.
needs to be that like especially since it's like finances. I don't know if it needs to be like that level.
Yeah.
But like basically it's like yeah, the mechanics like brilliant style, and then having the specifics with the AI, like you put in your own stuff, and then it's like that. Yeah, the money map is really good. I'm like, okay, this is
Perfect.
stuff that literally you said you care about. Like you, it's not even nobody else. It's literally like, what do you care about here?
Perfect. And you said that app was brilliant.org, that one?
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay. I've never heard of that one, but I'll definitely take a look at it.
yeah. Oh, that's very good. Yeah, I would say like they in terms of like the way that they structure their like the way they make the content interactive is very nice.
Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. That helps. I was trying to figure out more ways to make these learning sections more interactive too. There's not just blocks of text. Because I've gotten that feedback too. And I get it, being a young person once in my life, like I didn't read my textbooks in college when I didn't have to. And if I was in college now with AI, it'd probably be even less. So I get that part. But the best way to hide something is put it into paragraphs because people won't read them. So
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to ask you. If so, you said that this would have been relevant for like your high school basketball team. Anything on like your college campus that you can think of that if they had an event or if this was a resource, would that resonate with you?
I believe so. Because I'm thinking like because okay, like right now, like as I said, there's like I live in a dorm called New House. In New House, there's a specifically like black male living group called
Okay,
Chocolate City. Well, but also that's somewhat filtering. I feel like it would be useful just like to the general populace. It's just like that's
it
where my
would.
mind is first.
It,
But
it would, but of course, I always want our people to reap the benefits too. So
that sounds because I feel like this would serve a very very like unmet need of like I'm thinking yeah okay, but then for yeah, would this have a place in which it would resonate at MIT? Yes. Even like outside of like that specific living group, I'm thinking of like there's different like economics like clubs where like okay, this club's about economics, it fit directly there, obviously. But then I'm thinking of like NSBE and like BSU, but
yeah,
again, those are again the same like sort of things. Like okay, most like black people coming into college probably don't know about money that much because like you had also mentioned like the major you choose is a financial decision and you might just not know it yet, and it's like yeah.
because I think of that. If you want to be a teacher and be in New York, great. But you also need to put in a budget for being a teacher in New York and what that life looks like, or are you picking a major where this is the starting salary for an advertising job? If you built up 100,000 worth of debt in college because you wanted to go to MIT or NYU and you just took out loans and that's it, you're going to be behind the 8 ball for several years, and that debt payment is going to be due. And you saying, okay, well, I can get my income-based, payment change. That doesn't change interest. So even though you're on an income-based plan, they're still charging you the same interest.
And
And
that's where it snowballs.
and basic, math, if it's increasing more than I'm paying, it's going to keep increasing. So this payment may work well for this budget, but my debt load isn't changing. So it's that kind of financial thinking. Like, yeah, maybe for that person, it could be early on saying, I'm gonna maybe go to the state school instead, and still, excel there where I can get a good job afterwards. Or maybe I really want to try at a different major, maybe something in computer science or data, since AI is eating everything right now, and becoming a data engineer. Like it's those kind of choices that you determine where you want earlier on, and it could help you. Like, it doesn't mean you have to do that forever, but if you get to that point where you're 5 years out of college and you've already built a decent life, it's easy to pivot to something else too,
as opposed to trying to do it the other way around.
Yes. You're 5 years out and realizing, okay, do I go back to school for a different degree, or do I try to do boot camp or something like that, in hopes that can accelerate my career trajectory somehow? It's still a financial based choice, but you have to kind of think through what that all entails. It may be, yeah, I want this, but I'm gonna live in New York with 2 or 3 roommates, or I'm gonna go to Silicon Valley, but I'm gonna get a 2000 Toyota Camry that will get me from point A to point B. I'm not getting BMW. So it's all that mindset shift, because most of what I try to relate here, most of the money is just a mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like that mindset gets heavily influenced by like who's in your ear, if at all.
Yes. And social media can help or hurt that, because part of the algorithm, what it's banking on, is FOMO. It's part of how it's driven. So if you feel like you're missing out on, going on these trips or whatever, that may be where you start using credit card, because you want that lifestyle, when that's actually a mindset thing. It's not a money thing.
Yeah.
So,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
it's all these things that I'm trying to convey in these different sections.
Got you. Yeah. I forgot where I was gonna go with that other question, but I know something that's been like in the back of my head is like, I guess, like, which software did you use to like program the app?
So that's interesting. I actually used no code, low code tools to do all this. Because as I mentioned, I'm not a developer by trade, but I built this entirely myself. So it's if I were to give you something just from a college student standpoint, and you may not realize it, but you have an infinite amount of time on your hand right now to do something. Even if you are skilled in development, I know you're in engineering, it could be an opportunity to build something a lot quicker too. So specifically, this was built through Flutterflow. You probably actually see it up here on my screen. It's basically a low-code tool that allows you to build applications with one code base. So it can span from web to iOS to Android, in a drag and drop type interface. You can extend it with actually writing code, but it's mostly built from a visual development standpoint.
Got you. And honestly, that might be half the battle, especially like
yeah. It is. Now, of course, if you talk with anybody that's at MIT, they probably will shrug this, because it's the code that it produces won't be probably up to industry standards of easy to read and all of that. But it can at least get you to a point where you have a functioning app like this, where I can get feedback, test it, and iterate from there.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Good. Like, honestly, like, that was kind of like a question for, because a part of like because I feel this also goes into like what it seems like the longer term vision is, and it seems like we had just like aligned on those values in general of like trying to help more young, not exclusively, but ideally Black kids, like level up their bread for real. And I'm like, that's a big part of like why I'm like what I want to do with the media. And essentially, this seems like a way in which like say you're a younger kid, like you're 16 or 17, and you're interested in like, okay, I might want to do app development. Like, oh yeah, this would be perfect for you. Like
Yeah,
remove the function and just like start messing up, I guess. Like failing forward.
well, 100%. If I was, that young and able to play with this, it could have I could have built something a lot sooner and quicker. So your generation and younger than you in a perfect era of technology where you could do something like this probably with you a couple friends in a weekend.
Yeah. And it's like I
Yeah.
think, like you mentioned, like you said, like it all goes back to mindset, and it's really just
Mhm.
like I think that's like one of the biggest things that are going to separate this new generation is like it's not a lack of information. Everybody has like
No.
almost playing same playing fields. Like you have the information. It's just like, do you know where to look? And it's like, do you know how to ask the right questions?
Yeah, it's what do you know how to ask the right questions? Do you know what to do with the data that you receive to turn into information?
Mm,
Because I could tell you how to do all of this, but if you don't have something that can connect it that's relevant for you, it would kind of go in one ear out the other, and you won't do anything with it. A year, 2 years later, maybe it clicks in, maybe it doesn't. But it's that conversion of these tools are out there, but how can I combine them into something?
yeah, yeah, that's
So
great. Okay, cool.
yeah, yeah.
So I guess my next question is like, how can I help? Or like, I guess like, what was like the I guess other
Yeah.
motivation like having the call?
It was really because I went at the senior post. You're kind of when I think of target market as someone who's aspiring, motivated, really wanted to pick your brain and how you saw this platform,
Gotcha.
and just pass the initial like just sniff test of is this stupid, like or is there's something here. So it was really kind of that to
Like
start with right now.
like potential customer interview.
Yeah, um, I'm a product manager by trade, so talking with potential customers, it's how I figure out if I'm down the right path.
Yeah.
Um, and it sounds like it resonates. Probably can do a little in terms of the UI and just kind of look and feel of it. So that's the first part. If there's something on your campus where this is something where bring it to either BSU or something or NESB, we could work out something there too. So open to different kinds of partnerships too.
Gotcha. Yeah. Likewise. Definitely likewise.
Good,
I need
good.
to this is okay. To that this is like I'm thinking of like I feel like I was about to say I need to lock in terms of like getting like business stuff moving, but it's like I
Mhm.
have finals this week, and it's like to the degree that
Oh,
I want to lock in with business stuff, it's like okay, that's coming at the expense of your homework. Go do your homework, bro.
oh no, no, no. In this junction in your life, probably for the next what 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. For the next 2 weeks, this should not be your main focus. But I think going into next semester, that's where we can talk about something.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we can do from here, to give you a chance to actually play around with it, I'll drop a link to the actual website uh, in the chat, and you can make a profile. And then once you do that, I'll just convert it to a premium account, so you can actually play with everything.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Really nice. You said it's gonna be in a chat.
Yeah, it's right there. And just in the top of the page, just create account, and you should be able to follow the workflow from there, or sign up rather.
Mhm.
How are finals going so far? That
I'm
was
not,
too long of a pause, man.
yeah, man. We had one today. It was first one of the week at 9 a.m. It's called 2003. It's like the not weed out engineering class, but it's like one of the first ones.
Okay.
But yeah, it was they were doing their weeding out in that exam. I'm not gonna lie. And so like, not I feel like right now it's like depending on which assumptions I made. Like this is really how it is. Like I could have got that question completely right, or I could have I just
Gotcha,
didn't know what I was talking about. So it's like
gotcha.
maybe I got a C, maybe I got a B. We're gonna see when the
Yeah,
grades come out. But so, like,
understand. How is college going for you overall?
you said how is college overall going?
Yeah.
Pretty decently. I feel like it's been a lot of learning, and then I'd like to think that this next semester is when I'm going to like really like come into my own, because for the first year was pretty rough. Partially because it's like dealing with like, oh, you were smart back then, but now this is just the water you swim in. Everybody's smart. So it's like, okay, you lost that pillar you can lean on. Who are you really? And then also like now I'm far from home. And like mind you, I'm from a low income portion of South Florida coming up to Boston. Boston doesn't take that kindly to begin with. And then specifically I'm on a subsection of Boston that's like mostly white and Asian kids.
Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
And so, but then that was first year, and then okay, I guess like let's finish this. Okay, so that's like first year, first semester, and second semester, I run into like financial issues of like, okay, now I'm also like I'm paying this out of pocket, so it's like okay, like this is just my personal circumstance. Like my parents aren't the most involved, so it's like not only do I have to deal with this, like the fact that like it's not that great culturally here, but I also feel another level of separation because I'm working like a literal like I'm working in Lexington, like working a waiter job. So I'm like I'm going back and forth getting cooked by classes because like I'm also like literally trying to like make sure I have food in the like my little mini fridge in the dorm. And so it's like rough. Then this semester it's honestly like similar issues, but like I stopped the waiter job, and as a result, like I've had more time to focus on schoolwork, but I've also like now my money hurts on my own.
Yeah. Have you done internships?
Not yet. The idea is to get one. Like I've done undergraduate Europe. It's called Europe Undergraduate Research Opportunities, which is like through MIT specifically, but through like an outside company. The idea is to land a paid one for this year or this summer.
Have you heard of Inroads?
Enroads?
INROADS, yeah.
I have not.
I think they do engineering. I'm not sure. It's an internship organization specifically for Black people. So like when I was in college, I got an internship at Target Corp in Minnesota through them. That at least when I went, they're all paid.
Gotcha.
So because sometimes internships want to use you for free, which I don't believe in. So that's one thing I'll recommend. The other one, I don't know if it would be applicable just yet, but just to keep it on your radar is Management Leadership for Tomorrow.
And leadership.
So it skews more business, but they do have an early talent program, I believe, for college students. I want to say that it has something along those lines, and that may help you get opportunities as well. I know their partners are with most of the big tech firms and things of that nature. So put that on your radar. I'm trying to think of any other ones. Those are the two that jump to mind.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm in. Like I just had to accept the email, and then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, your Finplanly account should be updated to the premium one, so you should be able to get into everything now. Yep, I see it.
Okay, perfect.
All good?
Yeah.
All right.
I was lucky skipping through to look for the AI playground.
Yeah,
So,
it starts at section 4.
okay. Let's make sure this is sharing. Basketball.
Perfect. Everything working for you fine?
Yeah. I guess because I'm right now I'm just like locked in on the app. I guess how much would you want me to do now, or should like I wait till after the call?
Well, yeah, I would say you can kind of play around. Don't sacrifice your studying for it. I'm happy to kind of circle back in a couple weeks, and we can pick up from there. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds great. Thank you so much for like booking the time. This was like I'm really happy that we ended up like meeting up. Like I really because I think like our visions align in the aspects. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. I think I was right in thinking that you were kind of the quintessential kind of target for something like this. So
Yeah, bro. Also because I'm like I don't know. I honestly don't even know what it's at right now because my phone's on like D&D or like I've tried to start off, but especially like because you said like spinning it back like later down the line. I don't know. I feel like in terms of like publicity, that's somewhere I could help later on down the line because I'm catching a little bit of like nothing crazy, but I'm catching additional traction now.
Yeah, and I think even more so, like it doesn't have to be global or like national, even just at MIT. You know,
Okay.
I'm happy at like being very hyper focused on kind of what that traction looks like.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah. This was a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, I wish you the best in your finals. And we can circle back later.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
You have one for the rest of your day.
All right. Have a good one.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest. I went into that call not knowing what to expect at all, and it was very pleasantly surprising. I like that for us. No bull. Now though, I think I had a meeting just rescheduled, which is kind of good because I think it's supposed to be like right now. Oh wait, no, wait. When is this now? Thursday, December 19th at 2 p.m. That's fine. But yeah. It might like it's fine, cool. So the idea, because originally I was gonna have a meeting at 4:30. Now I do not, which is very nice. But okay, yeah, call it. Bye bye.